Yeah. Sorry. So I just decided because when this happened the last time, I just decided to start a new, and it worked. So um, I was trying to share the link to the group. Okay. Just give me a minute. Let me share the link to the group, and we'll be we'll continue from where we stopped. Okay. Saying right. This was right. I need to check the detail log on this picture to know whether it was the beginning of October, it was the end of October. I made that cut. And then this was 5 months later. So obviously, trimming was not the only thing I did to be able to retain this much length in the space of time that I did, right? But that I did. I washed more regularly. I simplified my wash day routine and I put more attention. I paid more attention to my ends, right? So I was dusting on every time I touched my hair, I was always with my scissors, right? So anytime I notice a split end and anything like that, I just take it out. And then I've made a video on this is on my Instagram page. I don't know that I've posted it here like on YouTube, but I was also knotting my ends, right? So that was helped to keep my ends stretched, prevent more knots, and then just keep it like well moisturized. Because when you knot it, after you moisturize it, when you keep it knotted, right, it can knot in on itself because it's literally in a twist and it's knotted up. It can knot in on itself. It's stretched. It's holding in that moisture for longer, and so when you go out to take that tiny knot at the end, your hair is straight. When you're losing the hair, you're not having any issues. You just have smooth ends, right? And it's also very easy to notice when there is a knot on that end and just take it out. I don't know if I've posted that video on YouTube. I guess if I haven't, I'll post it after this class. But yeah, so it just basically explains part of the things that I was doing during this period, right? So, like I said, the reason why I did this extreme cut was because I wanted my hair to be thick, right? From top to bottom. I didn't want my ends to look tapered. And I think this was an experience that also helped me understand that I have fine strands. Like I have high density, but my strands are fine. So um one thing I'm taking away, or one thing I'm going to be doing more often, and we're going to talk about that when we start our hair growth challenge and we start talking about the DIY recipes, is that I definitely want to incorporate more things that are going to help, like more treatments that are going to help me thicken my hair, because now I fully understand that I have fine strands. Because despite all these things that I did all through that 5 months, and despite all this length that I gained, and I still have, if you notice, right, if you look at the after video, you notice that my ends have already still started looking thin, right? And despite the fact that I was dusting regularly, I was trimming regularly, you know, more than I ever had before, my ends still look thin. So I attribute it to the fact that my hair strands are fine. But yeah, this is basically it, right? I did it because you know how I said I was going to try and make today's class 30 minutes. I think I'm just give or take plus or minus 5 minutes from 30 minutes. So yes, that's it. I don't know if you guys have any questions. Um I feel like there's something else I want to say about this streaming thing, right? So I think you shouldn't be scared, right? Like if I'm going to give final words, I would say you shouldn't be scared to um trim, right? If you're worried about losing length, I think you should start with dusting and try to add it to your routine. Trimming is an important part of your routine. You know where you're more comfortable, but just listen to your hair. Your hair is always talking to you. And the more you observe it and the more you try things, you know what is the sweet spot for your hair, right? So I'll definitely advise that you should incorporate, I'll definitely advise that you should incorporate trimming in one form or the other. Your hair will thank you for it, and you would actually see really amazing results. Like I have seen. Well, it's not like this was the first time that I was trimming. I had trimmed, I trim regularly and all that. But over time, I think this method just worked best for me alongside. Sorry, excuse me. Like I said, knotting my ends, washing my hair more often and things like that. So I'm going to spend the next couple of minutes taking questions and then we can bring today's class to an end. I hope you guys enjoyed the class. Okay, so that blonde cut, right, where you're taking the, depending on maybe 1 inch or 2 inches, right? Typically, it's advised for every 2 to 3 months or every 4 months. So if it's 4 months, that means it's going to be 3 times a year. If it's 3 months, that means it's going to be 4 times a year, right? But I saw something that someone said, and I think that made a lot of sense to me, which is the fact that if your 3 months come around, right, and your hair is doing fine, you're not struggling with combing your hair, your ends are not really rough, is it really necessary, right? Should you just be doing things on schedule just because you said you were going to do things on schedule when it's not necessary, right? So, in my opinion, you can, agree within yourself that you do it every 3 months or every 4 months or every 2 months, depending, right? But if your hair doesn't need it, then you can skip it till the next cycle, right? Or, make it extend it to like 4 months or 5 months. But what I would recommend you do every time you're in your hair, whether you're taking down a hairstyle, whether you're moisturizing, whether you're washing, anytime you stumble upon a knot and a tangle, it's definitely dusting, right? You should do that more regularly. And I think if you do dusting regularly, you kind of see that you can space out your blonde cuts um, better. So I hope I've answered that question. Are there any more questions? Yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, drop your questions, share. All right then. I'll see you guys on Saturday. Hopefully, we'll talk more in the group before Saturday, but I'll see you guys on Saturday. Thanks so much for joining the class. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, bye, guys.